Okay, folks, let's talk a little bit about nesting symbols. So I'll design just a very quick character. So we'll call it like body. What have we got? Like face. We'll do like little arms. Something like that. What I'm going to do is I'll make a symbol of each of these or convert to symbol. Okay, so it's F8. All right, so I'll do, say, body. I'll do face. I'll do, what have we got? Left arm, or arm left, and I'll do arm right. Okay, so that's all set up. All right, so imagine I'm going to set this up and have lots to do with it, and it's all like got loads and loads of different layers and stuff here. What I'd first do is set up all the registration points. So those two seem fine, but this, and to get there, I need to click into Free Transform and move the actual registration point. I'll do that here and move that registration point before I do anything else. So it's now all set up. Okay, you can imagine if all of this is set up on the main stage and I'm doing lots and lots of different stuff with it, it would be easier to use all of these pieces as the animation, and then if I wanted to jump or do some big macro movement, I'd put all of those pieces, all those symbols into another symbol and then move that second symbol. So this is nesting symbols in symbols. So for example, if I were to do this, and I'll do a little loop here where I'm, say, in the middle there, doing something like this. Now you can see I'm going to bring everything out of the main timeline, but if I was keeping everything in the main timeline, I would of course label all of this. So you can see I'm already having trouble finding things. So say I'm doing a classic tween here. So that's all happening in there, say. Now, if I were to jump that up and down or have that move around everywhere and say there's 20 layers here or something, it'd be really complex to try and keep up with all of this movement. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to click on there. I'm going to click on there diagonally with my finger on shifted to grab everything. I'm going to copy the frames. I won't cut them because I just want to see if this works, especially if it's really quite complicated. I'm going to copy the frames. I'm going to go to symbol and I'll call it, say, body all or something like that. And then I'm going to right click and paste everything in there. Now, the nice thing about this is that I'm now not in the main timeline, I'm in body all. And body all contains all of the other pieces doing what it did before. Now, the good thing about this is, over the years, as Animate has given us new functionality, more and more details come across in the copy. Okay. What didn't used to come across are all the setups for classic tween and everything else. So that's all great. Because it does now, it contains all this detail. But what it doesn't contain, that we've just discovered, is it doesn't contain all your parent-child details. So you're going to have to recreate them, unfortunately, at every keyframe. Okay, so we've been testing that out lately and it doesn't come across. So if you've gone a certain way and there's loads and loads of details and you're going to try this out, just try it out with something simpler, because you may have to set up the parent-child, as I said, with every keyframe. Now, what will happen, Animate in a year or two, as it keeps developing, I'm sure, will give you the ability to copy across parent-child as well. Here's hoping. This all means that we've got our animation working here. Then it means that we can go back in here, get rid of everything in the timeline, as long as we are sure that it works in here. Okay. Then what we can do is we can drag over body all. So this is about the nesting. Body all contains all of the other symbols. So you've got these 4 symbols nested in this one here. So if you really want to make sure, So we'll do body parts or something like that. If you really want to make sure you're not getting confused, you might want to drag all of the body parts into here so that you've got, well, so that you've got a symbol for everything and all of the pieces. You might want to do something like that. So in terms of hierarchy, you know what is where. So these are all the pieces. All those pieces have been nested. So all those symbols have been nested in this symbol here. And then you drag this symbol to the main stage, which means that you've got this guy moving around. Okay. And then you can move him up and tween it and do whatever. Okay. So you could keep doing this all the time. Okay. And then of course you add easing to it. In terms of easing, you click in the tween here and you can do all this stuff here. Yeah. So, you know, sort out your easing. All right. Do this sort of stuff. Okay. All right. So this is an example of nesting symbols. Now I might label that. This little guy here is bouncing up and down with a very simple ease. But if I pull the playhead across to a keyframe and double click on the instance of it, then I'm actually going into the symbol, the one symbol here, and I can manipulate all the body parts. This, of course, would be where I label everything to. So let's just do that. Face, arm left, up, arm left, arm right. So then you can go into here and all your details and everything are in here, but some very simple overall animation can be done here. Okay, so the unfortunate part of all of this works really well if you've got lots of detail and you want to hide it away and then, you know, grab the big symbol and bring it across and do something simple with it. This works really well, but as I said before, when you're coming across, when you're cutting and pasting those frames across, the parent-child doesn't come across. All right, so I'll do a bit more research about parent and child. Otherwise, you will have to recreate the parent and child for each keyframe. So a very simple overview of nested symbols. That should help you. If you want to do that, you can certainly do that with little pieces, nesting symbols in and out like that. But yes, it works really well with very, very simple animations like this.